Sure, let's do this really quick. We'll just let the Hollow Knight menu music play in the background. I filled out this thing because somebody linked it to me. Wow, that's really loud. Hold on. Shush, 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 shush. Shush, 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 shush. Why is it so loud? There we go. That's better. Somebody linked me this chart, and I thought it was really interesting because this chart's weird compared to a lot of other like favorite video game charts because it made me do some like really deep fucking pulls on games I wasn't like expecting. You already know what I'm gonna say for Gungeon. There's no need to elaborate there, but I just thought it'd be fun to go over this. Wow, it's still really loud. Why is game so loud? Shush, shush. I like talking about video games a lot, and considering I stream them, I thought it might be fun to just go over my video game background here. There's some really weird picks that I had to do to fill some of these categories, and I also think it's not super... There's a lot of deep grabs here, but I don't think it's really a comprehensive evaluation of what I consider my favorite games. It's not very indicative of things, of all of the things that I like, but how'd that end up there? Favorite game of all time. I hate that square. Why? I hate the OBS interface so much. Stop. Let go. I hate this square with a passion because I'm not the kind of person that can definitively say that I have like a favorite game. I have like easily 10 games that are all in that spot. But I like managed to really narrow down. It was either gonna be Dark Souls or Bastion, and I was like, I don't fucking know. So I just put Bastion up there so I could have a different thing to put in my indie pick. Bastion's a really fucking good game and is like easily, I literally can't think of any criticism for Bastion. Like I sit there and I try and think of like a single thing I don't like about Bastion and I can't find anything. So as far as my definition of a perfect game goes, I really can't find a single fault with Bastion. I like the characters, I like the story, I like the gameplay, I like the art style. It's unique, it's fun, it's not buggy. Every element in it works with every other element, like, you know, like game design or something. It's a good game. Best story, Disco Elysium. Play Disco Elysium, motherfucker. It's amazing. Favorite art style. It's another Supergiant game. I couldn't really think of a strong contender for this one, so I was just like, what's a game that I played recently that I thought was really pretty? And I was like, oh yeah, Pyre. Pyre kicks ass and is very pretty, so I put that up there. Hollow Knight, I'll finish it someday. Yeah, that's why we're here right now. Big personal impact. This one's weird, and I feel like it's gonna need some explaining. Because like, I played Super Meat Boy when I was in like, I don't know, high school, middle school. When the fuck did Super Meat Boy come out on the Xbox Live Arcade? Hold on. Super Meat Boy, Xbox 360. It's 2010. Yeah, that was like high school. Yeah, I played... It was the first game that made me contextualize death in a video game as a temporary setback and as a learning tool, rather than a punishment for doing something wrong. Before I played Super Meat Boy, every time I died, I would get really frustrated, and I used to get so pissed off at video games whenever I lost. And then Super Meat Boy just fucking breaks you. It just removes that as an option. If you get mad every time you die in Super Meat Boy, you just die in real life. It's not possible to contain that much rage. And that's when I was like, oh, death is just like a learning tool. And it's honestly a game that is set up how I enjoy lots of other games now. Like, I don't think I would have ever enjoyed Dark Souls if I hadn't been broken on Super Meat Boy first. Which is like a weird thing to say, but I think it's accurate. But I don't even really like platformers that much, but I really like Super Meat Boy, and I feel like it had a big impact on how I view game design. Best combat, Sekiro. Sekiro takes everything I like about like Miyazaki boss design and stuff, and then just completely, it gets rid of all this. There's a lot of stuff I like about Dark Souls that's not in Sekiro, but the combat is like the best a Miyazaki game has ever had. It's just fucking distilled into its purest form, and it's so good. It's like Bloodborne on drugs. It's just great. More Miyazaki you like, but everyone hates Dark Souls 2. Like, I get it. I get why people... And it's annoying that I have to put this on the list here now, because I feel like the counterculture is finally, like, coming back around, where now it's okay to like Dark Souls 2 again. It's weird. I never understand how internet opinions work. But I feel like recently people have started to say that Dark Souls 2 is okay again. But I get why people hated it for a while, because it was different from Dark Souls 1, and it had a lot of bullshit in it that is frustrating. And a lot of the enemy encounter designs were kind of annoying. But overall, I really liked a lot of stuff about Dark Souls 2. I really liked the loot, especially. There was just so many items and really cool build variety that's not in the other Dark Souls games. So many things were viable in Dark Souls 2 that were not viable in Dark Souls 1 and became unviable again in Dark Souls 3. Like, sorcery builds, miracle builds were actually things you could do in Dark Souls 2 and not feel like a fucking idiot. And there was just so many ways to min-max and do like these cool combinations of stuff that you didn't feel like the game intended for, but worked just fine. And that's, I don't know. Dark Souls 2 was really fun. I liked it a lot. Even if some of the shit was really wonky, like adaptability should not have been its own stat. That was a bad idea. Enter the Gungeon you hate but everyone likes. This is I've already gotten arguments with everyone in this chat right now about this game. I hate Gungeon so much. It's almost irrational at this point, but I'm gonna double down on it. I just don't like it very much. I think Nuclear Throne is better. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna sip my water now. It's too slow. No. I'm not afraid of getting good. Gungeon just doesn't... First off, I find it horribly unfunny. Like, it tries to be really funny all the time. That wouldn't be like a deal breaker. If the game was actually fun, the humor wouldn't bother me at all. But it like really goes for that Reddit gold reference humor that just completely misses me entirely. But the gameplay is just really... It just feels so slow to me, and a lot of the weapon... It feels like a lot of the runs are completely reliant on you getting good weapons that don't feel like shit. Which is just not what I want for like a Twitch twin-stick shooter game, you know? Which is why I like Nuclear Throne more, because Nuclear Throne definitely has some of those power weapons that feel good if you're lucky enough to get them, but it's way more reliant on just you going into fucking hyper mode and ascending to like the next plane of existence and being able to dodge 30 million things on screen at once. Whereas Gungeon feels, I don't know, more item reliant. Crypto the Necrodancer, underrated. I have that in this spot. I think it's not like nobody played Necrodancer. I think a decent number of people played Necrodancer. I mean, I got a fucking Zelda spinoff, so clearly some people paid attention to it. But it is, by fucking leaps and bounds, my favorite roguelite of all time. It's an amazing game, and I'm surprised that, like, I don't know, it just never feels like it gets the recognition it deserves. It's extremely, extremely good. I fucking love that game. Amazing soundtrack. Danny B brings it hardcore like he always does. Meshes with the gameplay perfectly. It's really unique. And it just, the reverse game design of like, it starts hard, and then you beat it, and then the game goes, all right, that was easy mode, motherfucker. And then you go back and you start again, and it's way, way harder the second time around. It's like your reward is that you just get a harder game. I like that. Overrated, Braid. I really... I don't know why I have such an intense, fiery passion against Braid, but I always have. I fucking hate this game so much, and I really can't articulate why in any, like, satisfactory way. In short, I find it to be highly pretentious, very boring, and, like, it's just, everything about it screams to me as an artist who thinks he knows how to make video games better than video game developers. It's just like every ounce of that game screams that at me, and it drives me insane. So I get really annoyed when people keep talking about it as like the turning point for indie games, because it's not even like the best indie game that came out that year. But I mean, it at least it did like bring more attention to the indie game scene. At least it did that. You know, fucking whatever. Why do I like this? Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor. I don't remember if I've ever talked about this game on stream before. I got it as part of the Black Lives Matter bundle, the Justice bundle, on Twitch, or not Twitch, itch.io. And it was definitely the most fun thing that well, okay, fun is a weird word. It is basically a suffering simulator. It's so bizarre. And it's intentionally slow, cryptic, annoying, depressing, but in ways that like I super vibed with. It's really hard to articulate why I like it so much, but it is the most accurate representation I've ever had in a video game of waking up on an alien planet. Not only because that's literally what it's about, but like design-wise, everything about it is designed in such a way that the gameplay reflects your inability to understand your surroundings, and you have to learn through trial and error what the rules of the game even fucking are. And I really like that. And it's really cool, and it's unique, and it's not fun in a traditional sense, but I really enjoyed it as a video game experience with a capital E. Game you always come back to, Dark Souls 3. Especially with the Cinders mod. I have more hours in Dark Souls. It's annoying because Dark Souls 3 isn't even my favorite Dark Souls game, but it's the most replayable Dark Souls game. Especially when I've modded the fuck out of it, like with the Cinders mod. There's just so many... It's every time I boot it back up, I like blink and then 12 hours have passed and that's just all I did was just play Dark Souls all day again. And I'm like, God damn it. I had other things to do. I did not need to play Dark Souls 3 for 12 more hours today. The Cinders mod is really fucking good. If you play Dark Souls 3, just install it. It's great. It's amazing. Adds so much more replayability to the game. That atmosphere. Subnautica. If you've ever played Subnautica, I don't think I need to elaborate on that. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you haven't played Subnautica, play Subnautica. That was probably my favorite game that year, but there were a lot of good games that year, so I don't know. Subnautica Below Zero is coming out May. Like, it's gonna be finished in May, so fucking mark your calendars, because I'll be streaming that for sure. I have it on early access right now, but like, there's no reason to play Subnautica before it's finished. It'll just be a subpar experience. Bad Day here, Noita. Noita is brilliant. And it's so easy to just jump into and do a new run and find new and exciting ways to suck your own dick until you die. It's just so, I can just pick it up any day and I'll have a fun time. So yeah, that's why it just keeps popping up on the stream, because there's never a bad time to play Noita. You know? Like, it's just infinite fun whenever you want. It's whatever. Favorite protagonist, that is Jonathan Marston from Red Dead Redemption. John Marston. I really like the original Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption 2 is okay, and I also like Arthur Morgan as well, but John Marston is probably my favorite video game protagonist because he is simultaneously his own character with his own story that is fleshed out and believable and relatable, yet is also the protagonist, and like you can play as him and everything you do as him still feels in character for his character, you know? So you don't feel like you're role-playing against him at any point. You know, he's the perfect video game avatar while still being a fleshed-out, realistic character. J.C. Denton. J.C. Denton is another great contender, but he's more of a fucking enigma than he is a protagonist. I don't think his power can be contained. But like John Marston is such a great character because he has that contrast between, you know, he's burdened by his past, but he has a family now. You know, he has new things that he cares about, and other people use that as leverage against him and throw him back into this world that he tried to leave behind. And then there's like that whole parallel with Dutch, where it's like, did he actually try and leave that world behind, you know, or can somebody even leave that world behind? Is it even possible, or can a person change? And it's like, you know, it's like the whole theme of the game or whatever. But anyways, he's a great character. Love that game. After work relaxation, Halo 3. Kind of same as Noita. I can pick up Halo 3 and just boot up any mode, dick around in Forge mode, dick around in campaign, play multiplayer. I can just do anything, and it reminds me of high school, and I just kind of chill out. It's fun. I like Halo 3 a lot. Biggest letdown, Mass Effect 3. This game made me depressed for an entire week when it came out. It also taught me to never get excited for video games ever again. Mass Effect made me jaded as a human being. When I beat Mass Effect 3, I distinctly remember it just kind of ruining an entire week for me. All I could think about was like, I can't believe they just did that to me. And that I never got invested in video games ever again. Back in the day game, Azric. Duh. I mean, I don't know. Moving on. Not the best, but having fun. Stellaris. I really don't know how to feel about Stellaris. I keep playing it, and I keep coming back to it and playing it some more, and being like, and I can't tell if it's me just not being good at those kinds of games, which I'm not, which is definitely like part of it. But in general, there's just a lot of design things that like nag at me when I play it. But then I just keep playing it anyways, and I still do. I feel like it's not possible to play Stellaris and have fun as anything except for like a hive mind. Everything else just feels kind of bloated and annoying, and like there's a bunch of shit that just doesn't feel right when you play as anything else. And they keep changing the game like every year too. It's like the current Stellaris bears absolutely no resemblance to the original Stellaris. And it's like it's hard for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's annoying. It's hard for me to get invested when it's like I can learn how to get really good at like the planet building stuff, but then like next week they're just gonna change how the planet building works entirely, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, fuck me, I guess. The Surge 2, Criminally Overlooked. I still don't know how I feel about having this in Criminally Overlooked, but I couldn't really think of anything that was like criminally overlooked. Generally, if I feel like something was overlooked, it's for the decent reason. But I really liked The Surge 2. The Surge 1 was not the best. It was fine. The Surge 2, mechanically, I think is one of the best iterations of the Dark Souls formula that exists. I think it's really, really fun to play, and all of the elements build into each other really nicely in a way that Dark Souls just doesn't have. I think it really fucking steps up to the plate mechanically. Story-wise, it's laughably bad. There's no story. Things just kind of happen for fun, and but like in a good kind of campy way. The final boss being a fucking anime angel sword battle is the funniest shit ever. So yeah, that's... I really like The Surge 2. It's good. You should play it if you like those kinds of games. Depressing game, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. If you've played it, you know why. If you haven't, you might want to play it. I don't know if I can... Dragon's Dogma is one of those games that's hard for me to recommend because it takes like 30 million years to beat. And it's definitely not for everyone. It's good. It's good for some people. And it has a really depressing ending in a way that just feels like, oh, that's a bit real, isn't it? Oh, okay. And then it's over. So yeah, that's Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma feels like someone's existential dread kind of just manifested in fantasy video game form. Favorite active franchise, that's Miyazaki there. That's Dark Souls Miyazaki smiling coyly at the screen while he refuses to give us any more information on Elden Ring. And Later Alligator is my indie pick. I basically put Bastion up in favorite game just so I could put Later Alligator down here. I fucking love Later Alligator. It's so simple and sweet and fun, and it's not anything like astounding. Like there's nothing incredibly groundbreaking about it. But it's just fun, and it's unique, and it's very like everyone working on it clearly had a lot of fun making it, and that makes it fun to play. Great music, fun characters. It's got alligators in it, everything you need. Not usually my thing, but Final Fantasy XIV. I don't like MMOs. I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Not even Final Fantasy VII. So it's weird that I got as into Final Fantasy 14 as I did, but I fucking love that game. And it's weird that it's like hidden here in the corner, especially with Shadowbringers. It's weird that it's like hidden here in the corner because it's, if you were looking at this chart from a distance, you might think that Final Fantasy 14 is like a minor footnote in my favorite video games, which is why I said this chart is as weird as it is. But like, Shadowbringers is one of my favorite video game experiences of all time, and I fucking love that game so much. I love all the characters. I love the Shadowbringers story to death. And the gameplay is fine too. It gets better. So yeah, that's my list. I just thought that might be fun to talk about before we play video games, because it kind of gives some insight onto how I feel about everything on here. And my video game background and stuff, I thought it might be interesting. It might be a fun way to open up after having been fucking dead for 3 weeks. One Shot isn't anywhere on here just because these categories are weird. There's nothing that One Shot does specifically that I would say is better than anything on this list, but that's why this list is so weird, because again, One Shot is also an extremely important game to me, and one I would put pretty high on any list of like my favorite video games. You should play One Shot too, it's very good. Fuck Braid. I will allow that Enter the Gungeon is just not for me, but is an okay game, which is why I put it in you hate but everyone likes, because lots of people do like Gungeon. Fuck Braid. It's not a good game. End of statement. Okay, let's play video games.